Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up? Excuse me. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, normally at 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central. But your boy is on the road still. As you can see, I am in another hotel room. Now I'm down in Raleigh, North Carolina. And today is the last day of the road show because it is fly home day. I got a site visit today. Going to go see our longtime customer out here in this area. And then I am flying back home to Phoenix tonight, which I cannot wait to get back home and see my family. It's, I got on the road on Sunday and was in Philly for a couple of days, flew down to Atlanta, and then flew up here yesterday. And now I'm just here till this evening. Then we fly back home. And yeah, it's we'll get to some articles and everything here, but it's been a great trip overall. And let me see here. Jamie, what is up? Coming in over on YouTube. Good morning. Nick, my man. Good to see you. Yeah, this trip it's been intense because for those of you who've been listening to my show for a while, you guys know that I'm on 75 hard right now. And days 70 through 74 are going to be on the road. And to put it into perspective, I completed that in 3 different cities over that 4-day period here. And I'm flying home tonight. So it's like I got up at like 3:30 Eastern time, which, I'm on the West Coast, right? So it was, it's going to be a long day at the end of the day today because I land back in Phoenix tonight at 11 p.m. But I had to do it, right? Like I had to get my critical tasks done because I got a 2-hour drive out to see a customer of mine. Then I got a 2-hour drive back into the airport tonight. So it's just like I had to get my stuff done no matter what, right? So it was getting up at 3:30 Eastern, heading into the gym at 4:30 Eastern, and getting in my first one and then knocking off some other tasks here and then getting my outdoor workout done here. And it's this program, I'm telling you guys, is it's life-changing. It really is. And yes, there's some major physical benefits of it, but it's the mental benefits of this program because you really start to see what you're capable of. And that's the biggest thing. Like if I wasn't in this space mentally, at this point, this trip would have been a lot. And I mean, I'm going to be fully transparent. Tuesday morning, I was in a rough spot, right? Because like I had a lot of stuff to do. I mean, I tried scheduling my flights in a reasonable manner so I could get stuff done. And it was just a lot, right? Like I talked to my business partner Tuesday morning and I was just bitching and complaining for like an hour because I just wanted to go home. Right. And, that's the reality of pushing through a lot of this stuff. And, yesterday, I down in Atlanta at Modex, and Modex is massive. It's a massive show. But I got to see Nick Saban speak. And when you hear somebody of his caliber break things down, talking about the critical tasks. And, one thing that really surprised me is because like you see him on the sidelines, right? You see how fired up he is all the time and how he was really out there, holding his players accountable and stuff. And what was wild to me is what he said. And it really resonated to me because like our number one core value in our business is do the right thing. Our company motto, Freight Coach Logistics company motto, is one truck at a time. And he was talking about a situation that he went through back in, it was 1998 when he was the head coach at Michigan State. And he was talking about, a certain situation about it's just running your play, one play at a time. And, he's like, yeah, he paid attention to the score and obviously he knew all of those things, but his whole thing was one play at a time and execute one play at a time. So, to really tie it into business with a lot of this, we all go through struggles, right? Like we all go through hard times, challenging times and everything else, but the discipline, and to kind of tie it into 75 hard and everything as well, the discipline of getting the tasks done no matter what and following your plays is so crucial. Right. So, to hear somebody like Nick Saban, who is the greatest college football coach, if not the greatest football coach of all time, go up there and break things down so simple. It is so simple where it's, and then another thing too that he had said that kind of surprised me a little bit was what he used to tell his players at Alabama. He was like, you guys will never guess what I used to tell my players at Alabama more than anything. And he said, you guys need to lose more. And I was kind of just like, wait, what? And he said, I told them that because at Alabama, they're accustomed to winning at a high level. So you just expect that it's easy at that point. And what he said is when you lose, that's when you appreciate what it takes to win. You have to go through those losses. You have to go through those situations because otherwise you just expect to win. Right. And then it's the same thing in business. Right. And I'm victim to this. When the market's good and I got money rolling in, I think it's always going to last. There's a lot of value though in those losses. There's a lot of value in getting punched in the face and realizing, hey, I'm not as good as I think. I need to continuously work every single day at this no matter what. And then also seeing the value in those challenging situations. And that's one thing that I've been really realizing a lot this year, is the benefit of when there's issues and how you handle those issues, and then what you can learn from that, so you can make those changes moving forward. Because you don't want one situation, there's not one situation out there in business that can derail you. Right. At the end of the day, you have to go out there and you got to find that solution and then make those changes and move forward, because there's going to be other customers, right? There's going to be more freight. There's going to be more opportunities. There's going to be more of all of that out there. If you make the necessary adjustments, you learn from your mistakes and you just don't quit. So I don't know if Modex posted that speech from Saban, but I would definitely check that out. If I was any of you who's watching this live or listening to that on the replay later on, check out Modex 2024, and they might have posted that Saban speech up there. And it was, it wasn't like an electric rah-rah speech, but he just has the confidence. If you didn't know anything about Nick Saban, put it this way, and you heard him talk for the first time yesterday, you would instantly feel this guy's a baller. He's done shit before. And that's just the calm and collectiveness that he bestowed on stage yesterday. It's a lesson for me to learn, because I'm not exactly the most level-headed person at times. I get fired up about a lot of shit, but that is what it is. That comes with learning, I guess. So, all right, you guys. I'm going to get into some topics here. I kind of that was a little bit longer than I wanted to, but you guys, the beauty of it is my show. Plus I got stuff to do. And then we got freight moving today as well. And my friends over at Green Screens, they're over there. They're in the screen. I'm trying to get that up there. Green Screens, you guys, right there. That is who we utilize to move all of our freight. We bid everything with them. All the freight that we're moving, all the freight that we delivered this week and every week is won by the rates provided by Green Screens, you guys. So check them out, greenscreens.ai. All right, let's break down some topics here quick. And again, this is going to be a quick show today because I got stuff to do. There's kind of some big news breaking overnight. The TIA has been advocating for, it's called MAP 21. And if you guys just Google MAP 21, MAP, Mary Apple Paul dash two, the number 2, number 1. If you do that and you go to the FMCSA's website, it's going to break things down. And I'm a massive fan of this, because what MAP 21 is essentially implemented for this law is to raise the bar to enter the industry and operate on our roads, hold motor carriers and drivers to the highest safety standards, and then remove the highest risk drivers, vehicles, and carriers from our roads and prevent them from operating. Now, I've talked about this a lot, about raising the barrier to entry to get into this industry, from brokers especially. All right. I'm a broker. I'm going to call brokers out first. We got to do better. And this is something that I think is going to hold people to higher standards and raise that barrier of entry to get into this industry. And then, furthermore, when it comes down to like the repeated safety violations and everything else, we got to get those drivers off the road, right? At the end of the day, because I think that that is going to make more profitable freight for the ones who are doing it by the book, the ones who are performing at a high level, like my man Nick Isabella out there with Trusted Cartage, my man Adam Wingfield and all of his clients and stuff out there. Those guys are doing the right thing, and they deserve to get compensated for that, right? So I think and the way that I see this is it's going to remove the bad actors from the industry. Now, in typical fashion, this went into law in guess what year? 2012. So it's been 11 years. So I wouldn't expect, 12 years, public school math there. It's been a while. So I don't think that this is going to be anything anytime soon. But at the end of the day, MAP 21 and then having it progress in Congress and everything, and the TIA spearheading that's going to be good for the industry. Anki, what is up, my man? Over on YouTube. Good to see you. All right, you guys, let's get into the first article. As always, you guys, the links to the articles that we talk about on this show are uploaded on the Freight Coach YouTube channel, as well as the Coffee with the Freight Coach audio only replay, which is available on iTunes and Spotify almost immediately after the show. And as always, you guys, if you guys get value in what you heard, do your boy a solid. Subscribe to the show, share it out there to your network, rank it on iTunes. That's how we get this show out there, you guys. But most importantly, this is how we can help more people, is because if you saw value, your network's going to see value as well. All right, first article, fleetowner.com. When wants become needs or even musts. This is about technology in the industry. And it said the cell phone outage that occurred in February got me thinking. At one point, cell phones were wants, not needs. And then it goes on to say, last week, I talked to several fleets about the cell phone outage and how it impacted them. In fact, we should probably call them smartphones. Almost all of them talked about the importance of smartphones with communicating with drivers and then the apps that are out there. As trucking relies increasingly on smartphones, the internet, and even electricity, as we move into a zero emissions freight future, which, caveat, I'm not a fan of I'm a fan of reducing emissions, but the electricity portion of it, we'll get to that later. We are faced with the challenge of creating systems that have 100% uptime and 100% reliability. I believe this is one of those challenges that will require cooperation and collaboration among stakeholders in the industry. And then we need to begin working on the challenges now, because solutions will likely take time to implement. Although these challenges are significant, they are not insurmountable, especially if we get the right groups of people working collaboratively on finding solutions. And it says, let me challenge each of you on a discussion of securing the reliability of various technologies that are out there. And I chose this article. It's quick, but I think it's funny because we had an opportunity to do this, right? It was called paper logs. That was a thought back in the day. No, I'm not against e-logs or anything like that, but it's funny when you see articles like this talking about technology and where we are and the reliance of the industry. And I'm connected with Mike Lombard, Lombard Trucking. If you guys aren't connected with him on social media, you guys should check him out. But he had posted something this morning, or I saw his post this morning about how people are looking into sailing, like sailboats as a way to power ocean vessels. It's like some revolutionary thing. And it's just kind of funny to me, where it's like, oh, wait, is there too much reliance on technology? I mean, I look at it like this. The first thing my old man made me do, Stuart, what is up? Stuart, the hobby trucker, coming in over on YouTube. Back in the day when I would ride with my dad, he made me read the map for him, right? It's called a Rand McNally for those of you. And he taught me how to read a map. I don't know many people who can do that. But it's like, we should have that ability, right? Because for tens of thousands of years, we didn't have technology to operate off of. And, when there's such a reliance on it in our lives, and again, I love technology just as much as the next individual, but my big takeaway from this little article about getting people thinking about trucking's reliance on technology, you got to ask yourself, how many of you can do your job if there isn't internet access, right? And I see this all the time. When there's issues with load boards that are out there, right? Or there's issues with technologies, and everybody's all over social media complaining about how this is down and that's down. When's the last time you actually called one of those carriers? So, like, say Stuart, the hobby trucker here, who tunes into my show, hauls freight for me. Guess what? I'm not going to make Stuart ever have to find my load out on a load board if he's done it for me. I'm going to go to him repeatedly every single time that he hauls a load for me. You need to do that, you guys. You need to build your network up and find carriers who haul the lanes that your customers move no matter what. I'm a fan of load boards. I'm not going to sit up here and say that I'm not, because it's a quality way to find capacity for your freight. Okay. But at the end of the day, there has to be a point where you reach out to the carrier direct. All right. They shouldn't find your freight on load boards or anything like that. So I truly think, from my perspective, you need to look at, can you operate in the event that there is no internet? Can you operate in the event that something doesn't work in the manner that you're currently accustomed to, right? So I think that, technology is great, but at the end of the day, can you operate your business without the internet? Without phones is kind of challenging, but at the end of the day, but like, can you still operate? Can you still communicate? Can you find where you need to go if you are unable to connect to the internet or something like that? So it's a good article and it makes you think, right? So again, look at your business. What do you have out there? What are you invested in? And see, do you have an SOP out there to what to do in the event that something like that happens, where the power goes out or the internet goes down? Next article, JOC.com. U.S. manufacturing and consumer goods spurring growth in shipments. And of course, just give me a second here, you guys. I got to log into this quick. Here we go. All right. An upturn in U.S. manufacturing activity and strong services sector output is leading to the higher freight demand. The expenditures component of this index, which measures the overall amount spent by shippers and transportation, rose 4% month over month in February, but was down 19.8% year over year and 27.6% lower than the previous 2 years. Any increase in truckload pricing may lag demand by some time as capacity remains readily available and orders for new trucks are rising. U.S. freight demand likely received a boost from warmer February weather after widespread January storms and an extra leap day. While seasonality remains soft in the near term and there are no more extra days on the calendar, underlying volumes have shown improvement. We see this as an improvement and an encouraging sign at a potential recovery. And then Cass projects that its shipments index for the first quarter will rise about 3% from the fourth quarter of last year, with less than 1% of that gain attributed to the extra day in February. With normal seasonality, Cass said it expects its shipments index to fall just 1% year over year in March to turn positive on an annualized basis in May. Let me see here. There we go. And then it goes on to say about goods and services growing. Several purchasing managers show why the outlook for freight is picking up. The S&P Global U.S. manufacturing PMI rose to 52.2 in February, up 50.7 in January. Manufacturing growth is supported by the JOC. With S&P Global, which is the parent company of the JOC, called sustained service sector growth in February. And then it goes on to say what we've seen the last 3 months is accelerating growth, said Chris Williamson, the chief business and economist for S&P Global. But Williamson pointed out that the recent growth is fragile and dependent on continuing reduction in inflation and the promise of lower interest rates out there. That could put a brake on the fiscal loosening that's fueling the growth. And the Federal Reserve is likely to proceed with caution when lowering rates. And then this could stretch out a recovery in the demand and the truck freight demand, a recovery many executives believe will come once interest rates drop. It's encouraging to see that there is an uptick in manufacturing, right? Now, is this going to lead to a massive influx in freight? No, I don't think that anybody out there is necessarily saying that. But if you're looking at where we were any growth is going to be a positive sign, right? Any growth is going to be perfect for anybody out there looking for more and more opportunities to get out there and grow your business, right? I think, at some point you need some sliver of hope, right? Like really when it boils down to it, you need some sliver of hope to like hold on to as you're fighting through down markets to try and sustain your business and grow your business and everything else. So, as always, JOC puts out great articles. It was a really good article, joc.com. Check it out, you guys. Robert, what's up, man? Robert Peterson says, I don't think it's possible for 80% of any businesses without the internet. I think the AT&T outage. Yeah. Robert, I think you're right, man. Like it, and I think like at the end of the day, the whole point of that article to me was to start thinking like, what can you do in the event something like that happens? Are you going to be able to operate? Is there something you can do to still, go back to the old fax machines, ladies and gentlemen, fire that baby up and keep that rocking in your office. Just keep the Louisville Slugger, like our friends at the movie Office Space, just in case you don't need it ever again. But no, man, I think like having something, to be able to still operate. I don't think you're wrong at all, Robert. I think you're really right in line there with it. It exposed a lot. And I hope a lot of people take that as an opportunity to improve their business. Stuart, the hobby trucker, says load boards have created lazy carriers and brokers, and the essential basic business skills like networking are lost for sure due to the way tech makes it so easy to cut corners. Yeah, man. And that's one thing that I'm looking to bring back in there is back to the basics and keep that out there and keep my carriers running for us and working with us, my partner carriers, as we go out there and we build up our company. But that's going to be it for today, you guys. I literally just got some quotes that came in from my customer. I got to get on that. And then I got to get on the road here because the Freight Coach Roadshow is wrapping up today out here in North Carolina, flying back home to Phoenix tonight. As always, you guys, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for everything and giving me the ability to live out my dreams here and build this up. And most importantly, to be able to help others and provide value out there to the trucking industry. So with that being said, if you got value, subscribe to the show, you guys. Share it out there to your network, because if you see value, your network's going to see value as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And we'll be talking to you soon.